Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. So in this one we are going to talk about lips and some of the common things that people get wrong with lips. So we'll start with the don'ts, and as you can see, straight away I've just gone in with a dark pencil. Um, doesn't matter if the outline's right or not. In fact, the outline was wrong, and I struggled to get that bit off there. Creases straight up and down, really harsh outline. There's no transition between lights and darks, and then I am blending with my finger, which is literally the worst thing you can do. If you don't take anything else away from this video, take away don't blend with your fingers. You've got oils and debris and all kinds of stuff built up on your fingers. You transfer that to your paper and you just ruin it. So don't blend with your fingers. And then what I did then, put in the highlight right the way around the mouth again. There is always a highlight, a shadow underneath the bottom lip because it's sticking out from the face. So unless the light is pointing directly up, there will always be a shadow under the bottom lip. And then with the highlights on the don't version, they don't make any sense where they are. They're all the same tone. There's no different tone to the highlights. The eraser was really big, so it's just made really big white marks that don't make sense. So that's another thing to look out for. Um, and yeah, the dark outline, the dark ring around the mouth, around the lips. Again, it just kills any 3D that you're looking for. It kills any dimension straight away. So if we move on to the do version. So as you can see, I started with a much lighter pencil, and I made sure before I went any further that my outlines were in the correct places. I didn't want to go too dark without making sure that my outlines were correct. So that's what I did first, and then I did that with a 2H, and then the crease in the middle of the mouth. Just darken that before I put a base layer along the bottom lip. I didn't want to lose where that crease was, so I like to start with the darks, and but I don't go dark, so I start where the darks are and lay my pencil down there first, and then go over those and make those darker, and then go back and go over the rest with the lighter pencil again. Like I said, I don't like to go too dark straight away, but I am starting with the darkest parts, even though I'm using the lightest pencil. Get the darkest parts in first of the first layer, and then blend that, and then you have your darks in place. So you can go to a darker pencil, get the darker bits darker again, and then you can go back over the rest of the lips where you need to go, and you won't lose where your darkest places are because you've already got them dark, which is what I've just done there. Again, using a blending stump to blend rather than my finger. And I use the blending stump as well. You can see how much value was on that bottom lip just from the end of the blending stump. You see how much darker it's made it compared to the top lip. That's value that was just from off the blending stump from where I had been over it before and blended it. And that is a tip I would definitely consider is when you're blending using the end of the blending stump. For the creases and things like that, it's really good for um, getting where you need the creases down. And then if you go through the middle of the crease with a darker pencil, you then have your mid-tones from your blending stump and your darkest bit from your pencil. And so again, I'm just going around making the darkest parts darker, bearing in mind all the time how light works and that the bottom lip is disappearing underneath the top lip, so there'll be an edge to value, and that's where the darkest places will be. And then just working, just getting the values where they need to be, just constantly looking at the reference image, putting layers down, blending the layers, more layers on top, blend those layers, and you just keep going, just keep blending, keep working until you get to the value that you need it to be. And you'll notice this one has taken a lot longer than the don't version. To achieve realism, it takes a long time. There is no shortcut. You have to get the layers in. You need all the different mid-tones, highlights, dark tones. They've all got to be done in different layers. And without those, you won't achieve realism. And again, I like to, when I'm shading out of the crease and the middle of the mouth, I like to shade with the creases going up and down the lips, which you'll notice are not straight up and down. They follow the curvature of the lips. But it's a good idea to shade in that direction, the way the direction the creases are going. It makes it much easier if you haven't got pencil strokes going left and right when the creases are going up and down. And because the crease in the middle of the mouth is going in on the top lip and the bottom lip, it needs an edge to value and gradation on both lips. So there's an edge to value and a gradation on the bottom lip, but there's also an edge to value and a gradation on the top lip, because they're both, as the top lip comes in, so does the bottom lip where they meet. So it's going to be darker there than the rest of the lips. So as it comes back out of that deepest part, the deepest depths of that dark, it's going to get lighter and lighter. And that's the kind of gradation that you need to be aware of and looking for. Whatever you're drawing, there's always massive opportunities for depth and dimension if you understand how light works. And I know I keep banging on about how light works, but it transformed my art. It transformed the way I drew literally overnight. It's such a simple concept, and as soon as you understand it, everything just becomes so much easier. So again, I'm using tissue paper to blend that out. So I either use a blending stump or tissue paper, or a paintbrush occasionally. Although I'm not a massive fan of the paintbrush. But again, I was not blending with my finger. So if you like blending with your finger, just take a piece of tissue paper on the end of your fingers, wrap it around your finger. You can still blend with your finger then, but you've got tissue paper in between you and the surface, and it does give you, I use tissue paper a lot on skin. It gives really nice smooth skin. So yeah, really don't use your fingers to blend. It really isn't good. So now I'm trying to put some highlights in, but you'll notice that not every highlight is exactly the same value, and they follow the curvature of the lips, and they're not. That's a Tombow Mono Zero stick eraser that I'm using, which is brilliant for things like that and hair and things like that. But any stick eraser or like that will do. That's pretty much it. I'm just going around now with my darkest value just to get that extra bit of depth and dimension. But then that is pretty much it. So make sure that you get the layers in, make sure that you get clean transitions from your lights to your darks, from midtones to lights to darks, make sure they're all in there. And yeah, that is about that. Just take your time. You will get there, it just takes time. So bear that in mind. It's not something that happens in 5 minutes. You have to work. All right, thanks for watching. Take care, guys.